Next, we have Blueprint update.
Good afternoon, President Claggett, Dr. Townsell, members of the board. I'm Joe Sampson III, coordinator of Maryland Leads Grant and Blueprint for Maryland's Future. And with me is Mrs. Carrie Akins, principal of CTA, who also directs our CTE programs and our Career Advisor program. Today, you'll be provided with a review of our status on National Board Certification, implementation of the Career Ladder, our Strategic Facilitator Partnership, and Ms. Akins will give you an update on Career Advisor status. So this slide represents the current NBC candidates in Calvert County Public Schools. All candidates signed their Memorandum of Understanding as a commitment to pursue NBC this year. We currently have 92 candidates in process, with 21 being initial candidates, another 21 being continuing candidates, and 50 retake candidates, meaning they are retaking one or more components this school year. Of those candidates pursuing, 31 are elementary teachers and 61 are secondary teachers. We're currently waiting on score reports, which will be released on December 9th for teachers who submitted portfolios last spring for this year's certification, and we look forward to recognizing them in the near future. We anticipate for those who are ready to submit and waiting for certification, we think if we're fortunate, our numbers will double if everybody receives passing scores. We currently have 19 NBC teachers in the system, but we don't know. We just have to wait on those score reports to come back. So regarding our career ladder, the career ladder must be submitted to the AIB for approval by July 1st of 2024. What you'll see on this slide are the mandated components of the career ladder and the different levels of the career ladder. So the submission of our career ladder is notably after our implementation plan submission, which is due in March. The AIB does recognize that more time is needed to complete plans for career ladders, thus the extension for that component of implementation. There's also been discussion about the start date of the career ladder being moved to July of 2025. So that gives us some time once we submit, get approval back before we put it into motion. There were all school system career ladder models will need to include at minimum levels 1 through 3. More information about the career ladder will be provided at a November 17th meeting. That meeting is at 12:45 p.m. With the AIB. And the details of the career ladder are currently being collaborated by members of our Career Ladder Development Board, which has been meeting all year to determine the recommendations and structures that will make up the career ladder for Calvert County. Staff input was also sought regarding perceptions of career ladder implications on staff and students. And the formal and final career ladder is subject to collective bargaining. This year, the AIB launched a new technical assistance grant program for FY24. Strategic facilitators were selected who are able to provide services to local school districts to support the development and update of their 2024 implementation plans and to support the continued Blueprint for Maryland's Future implementation efforts. The AIB pays for the strategic facilitator on behalf of the school system in accordance with a grant agreement between the AIB and the strategic facilitator. Each participating district had the opportunity to indicate preferences to work with one strategic facilitator, and then the AIB paired the districts with facilitators based on our preferences. The purpose of the collaboration is to support the transformation required by the blueprint. If you recall, last year we were submitting implementation plans talking about what we were currently doing, what things we had in place that met blueprint requirements, or were leaning or moving toward meeting those requirements. This year's implementation plan requires us to submit a transformational approach to education in Calvert County. And so our strategic facilitator will help us in that regard by analyzing current efforts, aligning to new requirements, assisting our leadership in managing systems change, and providing fresh perspectives and intentional support to clarify intentions, with the idea that it's someone outside the system that can bring in an outside perspective and help us do that work, or see things in a different way that we may not be seeing. And we have been working with our strategic facilitator since October. So some additional updates. The AIB and MSDE staff offered an overview of the draft LEA blueprint plan during a meeting with coordinators today. They did not go into specifics about that draft. It was just an overview, so we didn't get an idea of the questions. However, one thing to note is that last year's draft was 164 questions. They told us that this year's implementation template will be roughly 25 questions. Staff will review the structure of the template and major changes prior to sending the actual template out for feedback. And then, as I stated before, for the meeting next week with the AIB regarding the career ladder, they'll also be discussing the implementation plan template.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So I'm very excited to be sharing with you tonight some information about our new career advising program. So just to refresh your memory briefly from previous talks from Dr. Sampson, career advising is embedded within the blueprint in Pillar 3. So it requires through Pillar 3 that all school districts offer what they have termed as individualized career counseling for all students grades 6 through 12. You'll notice an important difference, and this is for us a career advising program. The language in the blueprint is career counseling. We've been very intentional in ours calling it a career advising program, and that's because the work of a career advisor is different than that of a school counselor, and we don't want those two things to be confused. So this is a partnership that we are in with an MOU between Tri-County Council, Southern Maryland, and CSM, and we used our blueprint funding to hire 10 career advisors. There will be one at each middle and high school. Right now we have 8 of those in place. And so there is also one advisor who is an advisor and also serves as the coordinator of all the advisors. So our overarching goals for this program. So our goals are to provide all students with a meaningful head start towards a successful future and an advantage over students from across the country and around the world. To help students find their passion through interests and talents, and then help students navigate how to get there by building capacity for the students to know what kinds of questions to ask about future opportunities. So I'll talk a little bit more in a minute, but this is really much more about sort of teaching kids how to fish and not giving them fish, and I'll explain that more in a minute. So we want to provide for strategic, intentional, and individualized planning with students in reaching whatever their post-secondary goals are, and enable students to make connections between their coursework and future careers. So we're hoping that one really cool outcome from career advising is going to be that, anyone that's ever worked with students in these grades, 6 through 12, has heard, why do I have to learn this? Why do I have to do this? So we're hoping that we can help students make connections between those things that are going on in the classroom and how they're going to use it in the future. So what does career advising actually look like? So this is just a few examples. This is not a definitive list, and the reality in the situation is that we're still learning new things about what career advisors can do with students, and collaboratively working with folks in schools and and we'll be, hopefully bringing in some community feedback and parents and the students, of course, to find out what we can do. But right now we're focusing on career advisors are helping connect students to a variety of experiences. So they're connecting students to experiences, such as field trips, guest speakers, career fairs, and other similar events. A lot of those events have already been taking place. They've been around for a long time, but sometimes just awareness, right, and connecting students to those opportunities. Most importantly, career advisors provide before and after learning so that experiences don't occur in isolation. So in this portion of career advising, we're building that capacity for students to know how to find their way on their own. So when we're doing activities with students like a career fair, the role of the career advisor is to help prep them ahead of time and then to follow up with them after to help the learning be a full circle. Career advisors might have student groups built on various student interests, support clubs, pull in small groups of students, work with individual students one-on-one, or present to whole classes and grade levels. So it really could be any individualized, it doesn't necessarily mean individual all the time, right? So it can be individualized to unique interests that a group of students might have, for example. And we'll look to deepen our use of the Xello career exploration software that we already have and been using a long time in the district, so that students can use some other features that are within that software, such as the ability to build resumes and portfolios. So through Tri-County Council, they actually have contracted with an outside organization, advisors, to help in this work. And Tri-County Council obviously works with Calvert County, St. Mary's, and Charles County. And so the group that they have brought in is called Educators Cooperative. And that group has helped us with understanding some foundational things to help build career advising on. And so the foundation of our career advising program, and this is something that we are really doing that I think sets us apart from what maybe some other districts are doing at this point. And that is one of our early pieces is to build a common language or framework so that eventually all of us are having the same conversations with students and we're speaking the same language. That way when students are talking with different mentors, advisors, teachers, they're not hearing different things. We're all on the same page together so that students really in the end have that clear focus that they need. And so we're doing that with Educators Cooperative. They have already worked with us to help train all of our principals in this model. Obviously, we've trained the career advisors, and soon we'll be training some other staff as well. And eventually, we want to expand that to parents as well. But the RIASEC model is also called Holland Themes. So some people may have heard that before. And it's just a language to describe different aspects of jobs. Very importantly, it's not a label. So we don't say people are realistic or people are conventional. We might say aspects of a job lead in a realistic theme. And our career advisors, so when they're meeting with students in these small groups or one-on-one, they're using this model called dialogic questioning. And this is really where it gets to the heart we are building capacity with students. The students are driving. They're making the decisions. It's the advisors are just facilitating and leading them, opening doors, showing them possibilities, but ultimately the students are making decisions, right? So we're just building the capacity with the students so that they know how to make the decisions. So they will be asking questions, and not exactly like this, right? Because if you look at a sixth grader and you say, "Who are you?" they might say Joey, right? They don't. So, but we're going to get them to think about who are you, how are you growing, what are your options, and where are you headed? And that's kind of the general idea. So I did want to very quickly just kind of mention what is not career advising, because there sometimes are some misconceptions about what it is or what it could be. We are not giving students a pathway. We're not tracking students. We're not making sure students know exactly what their career plan is in middle school, right? This is all about a process of exploration for the students, of building self-awareness, and building that capacity for students. We are not finding jobs for students or getting them into jobs. We might help them connect them to opportunities, but ultimately, again, we're building the capacity for students for them to find their jobs, right? We might show them how, but we're not doing it for them. We're not working with only a certain type of students. So our career advising program is for students who see themselves in any number of paths and any kind of variety of things they could do when they graduate high school, right? So it's not only for, say, students who don't know what they want to do. It's just as much for students who are very sure about what they want to do to help continue to expand their awareness of opportunities along a path they've already chosen. It's not exclusively educating students about CTE programs, as much as I might like that to be. That's not how career advising works. It's for all of the opportunities and we offer so many different things. It's also not college admissions advising. Career advisors are definitely going to talk to students about college, about the process, about how to navigate that process, but ultimately they're not telling students, this is how you get into Harvard if that's what they want to do. They might help them along that way, but they're not kind of doing that aspect for them. And it's not creating a transition plan such as part of the IEP process. They can help support that, obviously working with all students, whether they have an IEP or not, in what kinds of things a student might be interested in, and that will help inform a transition process that the IEP team would work in. So career advising as a program obviously is new through the blueprint, but the idea of doing things with students to help them navigate careers and be ready for careers is not new, right? But our approach to it is, we're hoping to, meet the bar, exceed the bar, and raise the bar. That's where we're trying to go with this. So before career advising, we might tell kids about opportunities. Hey, did you know you could? And now what we hope to do is get students to a point where they understand the pros and the cons about those opportunities, and they can evaluate then, based on that information, what they would and wouldn't want to choose for themselves and make the discussions or decisions. Before, the adults were maybe driving the process, right? Or maybe kind of no one was. It was just kind of, maybe a student found out about something, hopefully, luckily, right? And now we really want to focus on the students driving the process. We want the students to be equipped with how to. The world of work is changing so rapidly. We can't possibly educate students right now today about all of the possibilities that might lay out ahead of them in their futures because we just don't know what they are. But we can teach them how to know what questions to ask. We're not, we might have before said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you graduate high school? We're going to get these students to be thinking in a much bigger picture, right? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? What do you want your job fit to feel like? What do you want your work-life balance to be? Because just picking a job is not the whole picture, right, of a successful and interesting, for what students hopefully want in their lives. It's not adults telling students what knowledge is important in various career fields. It's not the adults saying, well, you need to study math if you want to be an engineer. Obviously, that's important, and they do that. But it's, again, getting the students to recognize what those connections are because we've connected them to experiences that expose them to those opportunities, and now they know, right? And it's not students selecting classes because someone said, you should do this, right? Again, it's about the students being armed with the knowledge of what questions to ask to ensure that classes, programs, and pathways are in line with their own goals. So with all of the information in front of them, we hope that they'll be equipped to consult with important people in their lives and then ultimately make their own decisions. So that is career advising.
Colleagues, do we have any questions? Ms. Hayes.
I'd just like to start by saying thank you for that. I definitely went into the whole career advising perception in my mind of somebody sitting down with a sixth grader and saying, you're going to do this with the rest of your life. So I really appreciate the clarification and explanation on that. I just have two quick questions. So are these career advisors are they expected to be the ones to reach out and connect with the students, or are the students expected to connect with them?
Great question. So we're doing a mixture of both. The career advisors are available for and in some cases we already have where the students are finding and seeking out their career advisors. But right now we're doing a lot more of the career advisors have been in place roughly since the beginning of October, and they're doing very intentional things to reach out to students to start to build relationships. So for example, in the middle schools, the career advisors are spending a lot of time in the school cafeteria. So it's a good place to talk to kids and just starting to get to know them, to build relationships so the students know who they are, both so that, if a student, they're in a casual conversation, a student says, oh, I might be interested in this, the career advisor say, hey, let's talk later about that. And then also vice versa, when a student says, you know what, I'm going to go ask that lady that was in the cafeteria, I'm going to go talk to her.
Thank you. And then just one more question. Is the career advisor, from what we've seen so far, able to effectively serve such a large amount of students?
Very good question as well. So we, right now, the funding in the blueprint provided for us to have one per school. So I'm sure we'll have to continue to evaluate kind of what the load is on that. Truthfully, though, part of the biggest part of the goal, right, is in that, and again, and what we're doing differently maybe from other places is in building this framework in this career advising language, right? So that we kind of are all kind of playing a part, right? So that all of the adults that students are interacting with on a daily basis kind of can play a role. So not that the career advisor should at some point see every student, if not individually, at least in small groups kind of thing. But again, at a school like Northern, right, where there's thousands of students, that's a big lift, right? So we're gonna have to work, that's part of the importance of that framework, because we're gonna have to work together for all students to be able to do it. But we want them all to have the benefit of the consistent message.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Grinnis?
I'm really excited about this. I think this is an awesome opportunity for children. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of these career counselors, and they are amazing. I think the county did a really good job picking the right people for the job. And I know this is very early in the process, and are you seeing, I'm sure there's a lot of pros right now. Are you seeing anything that you foresee being a problem with this program?
I think the hardest thing right now is just that, like most things in the blueprint, ironically, there was not a blueprint of directions of how to do it, right? So we're still kind of figuring it out. So right now, I think the most challenging part is just kind of navigating, you know, exactly what does the day-to-day look like. So mostly the career advisors right now, they're building relationships with students. That's their number one priority. Their number two priority is building relationships with the other folks on the staff and making those connections. And then behind that, it's a lot of watching and observing. So there's things that are already happening, kind of watching, listening, taking notes. So then we can kind of come back to that and say, okay, well, these are the things that are already happening. Now, how do we raise the bar on that? So that sounds wonderful and it's great, but it can be hard, right? When you kind of, no one's saying, do this, so.
Is there a county in our state that has done this already, or we're leading the model, creating it as we go along?
So, of course, every LEA has to implement, and I would say that they are all in different places. I think some other systems have had positions at least like this, perhaps. When I go to those meetings with my counterparts and we discuss that, there's a lot of like, so everybody, how do we do this? So I think everybody's kind of in that same position, but that also is the purpose in the blueprint in partnering with our workforce development boards. So for us, the Tri-County Council, because they are the experts in connecting people to the workforce. And so that was the thinking in the blueprint, in that every system had to have that partnership, and in reality, letting the workforce development board really take the lead, because they have been doing this for a long time.
Thank you.
Ms. Post?
I just wanted to comment. I think that it's awesome. I recently had an opportunity with my daughter to have a similar experience where you know, I listened. I didn't really participate, but you know, with some information that was shared with her, and how that information that was shared allowed her to really critically think about what that would impact, what it would look like, what her future would look like, even something like college, what her class loads would look like. But also because she was kind of the one that was steering that, and really understanding what that looks like and what her level of commitment is. I think it's really great to get kids involved in that, because you know, there's some ownership there, and I think when they find something that or their niche or they're passionate about, and then they have an opportunity to kind of investigate and really learn and know, it can help in so many ways, so that they're not, you know, post-high school kind of wandering. So thank you.
Ms. Belinsky?
Yeah, I'm trying not to get too excited about that. It's wonderful that we have an adult in the building that is concentrating on that fully. But you are building the airplane while you're flying it, you know, so I just have to sort of temper my expectations and my excitement, hoping that they're making connections every day, you know, but it really is, you know, unless you have the routine where you have an assessment that every student takes that's applicable to their grade level, you know, that'll help that career advisor know something about those children. You know, I don't know how they're going to just from scratch, you know, get that database.
Well, so that's where we're using the Zello platform. So we have done that for a long time, actually, with students. The school counselors have led those lessons with students, and using the Zello platform has some kind of base level assessments that kind of give some information about students and possible areas of career exploration. So all of the career advisors got trained in Zello about 2 weeks ago, so they are able to go in and kind of pull that information and use that as a good starting point. And so they are already using that as a, so for example, last month was Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so they were able to kind of go in and look if there were students that kind of had already sort of, I don't want to say matched, but there was an indication maybe there was something in that student's profile that, hey, let me make sure this student knows this is careers in cybersecurity. So they are already kind of doing that kind of work. I think it's a little easier at the middle school level right now in that regard than maybe at the high school level, just because by the time they get to high school, they're in so many different directions. So I think that to that extent, I am excited. I'm going to be excited all the time, right? So but it's a slow journey, right? It is going to take time to build it. It will, you know, I hope that our current seniors get some benefit from being able to work with their career advisors, but really where we're going to see this is, you know, our current middle school students as they make their progression through school.
Okay. Yes, I would have to say Miss Julie Womer at Calvert Middle, she's all in. She reached out to me and she asked if I would come and actually come for Career Day. I actually spoke with her when we had the wonderful meal over there at the CTA that day. I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of them, and she reached out to the community. She's going to bring people in. She knows that I attended the CTA myself and graduated, 88, yeah. So she's all in, and she's invited me to come and actually talk to the students. So I think that it's a great opportunity, and it's going to work very well for our students. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that to that end, we're also we're going to be able to work together, especially with this coordinator, to build almost I don't want to say a database, but a collect of lots of great folks like yourself that are willing to come into schools so that we can have a coordinated effort, right? So that, you know, that's great. Wow, you got to hear from Mr. White. Well, hey, how about go to Northern Middle School next, right? So working through some of those pieces as well, so we have a kind of central point for all of those kinds of pieces too.
Ms. Belinsky, did you have additional comments?
Yeah, I was just, did I hear you correctly when you talked about the score reports for the NBC? Our teachers submitted them in the spring and they're just now getting it back?
Yes, that's the way that the cycle works. And so they submit in the spring, and then they wait and find out in December, and then they're certified in December.
And how long, is it a 2-year process, the NBC itself?
It depends on the teacher. Some teachers do it all in 1 year, and some take 3 years to complete it, or 4 years. It just depends.
Okay, so this is a long process for them, and it's hard. I've heard it's challenging. So kudos to all of those who have taken the leap and are going to try it. Thank you.
Any further comments? Thank you for the presentation, Dr. Sampson and Ms. Akins. Ms. Akins, I am highly excited about the career advisors. I think your exuberance and your excitement about building out the program adds to the excitement. And as Ms. Grennis said, I think the perfect individuals were picked for the position. So I'm excited to see where the program goes and how our students benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you. And